and welcome to Starting Points, where one thing leads to another. Here's an example I've got for you. Last time I ended with sharing this book by Margaret Miller. I really enjoyed it. It's called The Birds and the Beast Were There. And when she and her husband moved from Toronto, Ontario, Canada, down to Santa Barbara, California, there was a change in the weather, for one thing, and a change in bird life. Birds that they had been familiar with seeing in the Toronto area, many of them didn't make it to Santa Barbara, whereas many birds were new to them. And I'm sure that inspired Margaret to go out, buy some binoculars, get some bird feeders and some bird guides, and try to identify these new, surprising birds. So I thought I'd spend a few minutes of this time we have looking at some bird guides. This is a I Can Read science book. When they were putting out the early I Can Read books, like Frog and Toad and Little Bear, they also put out a series of books, maybe about a dozen, on different topics involving children with science. And so the one on Baltimore Oriole by Barbara Brenner, there are a lot of bees there, looks like this. It's the format. I just show you a couple of pages to give you a sense of sometimes more picture than words, and sometimes about equal. So that's a good starting point, though, for a child who's beginning to read, maybe 6 years old, 7. Backyard birds, an introduction. In Canada, there's an artist that's become quite well known, and I think internationally well known, Robert Bateman. And he became interested in birds when he was about 8. And he decided to make an introduction, Backyard Birds, an introduction. And he used some of his paintings, or cropped some of his paintings, to have a picture with the bird in it. Here's maybe a picture here. A certain amount of word and some pointers and he covers books that could be seen in Canada, but maybe not in all parts of Canada. And he has some other themes that he puts in, a cycle of family life, and he's got something in there about migrations, and here's one where he's probably had a bigger painting with a woodpile, and he's got some juncos in it. And on the same page, he's also got that great climber that climbs down trees, the white-breasted nuthatch. So it's not an extensive guide, but it's an introduction. And I thought the paintings might grab the attention in a different way maybe than photographs. Now, that's not to say that photographs can't be attention getters. Here's some, just opening this up. Maps up into Canada. So, summer in Canada. These birds may be summer in Canada, the cowbird. All across southern Canada. The red-winged blackbird. Yes, we can get the red-winged blackbird here. And interesting that there are a few little spaces where they're also seen. year-round. So this covers about 50 birds, all of which can be seen in the U.S. Some can also be seen in Canada, the song sparrow, all across Canada and the summer. And so the Rocky Mountains sometimes form an impasse. Certain birds you'll find to east of the Rocky Mountains that you won't find to the west, and vice versa. It's a nice guide. Let me give you the first page here that shows the title. We gave this book to our youngest son, who was interested in going for walks with us or looking at birds, and he had an interest in birds, so we thought this book might be of interest to him. So here's the information if you're wishing to follow up on it. Nice. Yeah, it's inspiring, and I thought a good book to share with you. Now for adults, Birds of North America. This is a guide that looks like, there's hummingbirds right away. There's a guide that looks like this. And what it does is similar birds all placed in drawings on the same page. Male and female, information about each of the birds, a little map of where they can be found. If it's something like hummingbirds, there's probably some other pages about them because there's quite a few. Yes, here's some more, and that's how it's set up. And whether it be shorebirds or whatever, it looks like that, and it's a wonderful guide. And all these illustrations were done by a man by the name of Singer, his first name being Arthur. And Book of North American Birds by Reader's Digest, and it looks like well, it is like this. And interesting facts, nice illustrations, maps, information down here on habit and nesting and food. I often found that interesting to see, because the connection between birds and its food is an important thing. We'll talk about at some other point. So that's what the format of this book looks like. Now, Arthur Singer did the paintings for the birds of the world that Golden put out. This is a great reference book, and I mean, the cover gives you an idea that there's a lot of pretty amazing birds that we don't necessarily see. Here's the common cuckoo and the roadrunner, and so I'll show you just a few pages at random. Almost all words, it looks like, on that page. So this is a great reference book for adults, or probably for a 15-year-old and up who's keenly interested. Golden Books decided to make a book for younger people using the artwork of Arthur Singer. And I'll just show you a few pages from this as well to give you an idea of the format. This is a wonderful, wonderful book, and I remember I had one 5th grade student who just loved this book. Would go back and try to do drawings of the birds, and so that's what I wanted to share with you. Thank you for joining me. Until next time, goodbye for now.